All right, everybody, I'm going to get started today. I usually like to give a few minutes for people to jump onto the webinar because, as you know, those of us real estate agents, if pretty much everybody on here is a real estate agent, like I am. A lot of us can never be on time. So we like to give people a few minutes to get on here before we start the webinar. But let's get started today. So I see you guys chatting in, hardest part of converting internet leads. Makes a lot of sense. I totally get it. And, you know, the topic for today ideally is going to help you with that. It's going to help you get these people to engage. It's going to help you figure out whether or not they are actual leads or if they're just messing around on the internet. So let's get started. We recently worked with a cold calling company, a company that does a ton of outbound calls. You know, they're making 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 phone calls every single week. And what we did is we worked on their introductory script. And by doing that, it tripled the number of minute-plus conversations that their callers, their ISAs, were able to have. That is massive. If you know how difficult it is to get these leads to interact with you, then you know that if you could get 3 times the number of people to actually stick on the call with you and have a conversation beyond 1 minute, you have a much better shot of actually converting them or turning them into nurtures. So I'm Dale Archdekin with Smart Sales Coaching, and we specialize in scripting and dialogue training. And what I want to find out is how many of you are new here? How many of you have seen our training before and how many haven't? I'm going to drop a quick poll in the chat, and I want to find out if you have been around here before. Entry poll. There we go. So you should see a poll pop up here. It's just going to say, have you been on a Smart Sales Coaching webinar with us before, or have you not? I'd just like to get an idea of how many of you have seen our training versus how many haven't. So if you could fill out the poll for me, that would be great. We're at 64% of you have participated. If you can hear the sound of my voice, a poll should have popped up on your screen. And if you can't see it, in your Zoom control windows, there should be a button that says polls and quizzes. If you can't see it, just click on that and then answer the question for me. It's just either yes, you've been on training, or no, you haven't. Looks like right now we're at about a 75 to 25 split. 75% are new here, 25% are returning and have seen webinars by us before. Okay, I'm going to end the poll, share the results just so you can check it out. There you go, a bunch of new people, and I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, thanks for doing that. And let's get on with the training today. So our sales training content is the best in the industry. And I'm going to tell you why that is. Because the information that I'm going to be teaching you today comes from me being in production. And when I was in production as primarily a listing agent, because I didn't want to work with buyers mostly, I got to the point where I was one of the best for sale by owner and expired prospecting agents in my market of Philadelphia. And on average, I was taking between 5 to 7 listings per month just from cold outbound prospecting, which is hard, right? So a lot of the information, the principles and concepts that I teach within my company and that my trainers teach comes from that experience. And even before I got into real estate, selling and working with FSBOs and expireds, I was cold outbound prospecting for mortgages before that. I would go down to City Hall and pull mortgage records and look for high interest rate second loans and then just cold call those people and try to refinance them out of it. All the way back to high school, I worked part-time in a call center. Not that I ever thought it was going to be my career, that I would make a coaching and training company out of it, but you know, it was just a crappy part-time job that got me by, but I did pretty good at it. So I was in production as a listing agent for about 6 years. And then my partners and I got together and we scaled a team that ultimately became the number 2 team in the Philadelphia market. And we did around 650 transactions per year, and we had a little over 30 agents. So again, the training and systems and information are coming from that background and that experience. When we ran those teams, I had an inside sales team that I formed and trained and created really and optimized. And once I got it all figured out, my inside sales agents, the people that you pay to sit there and work the internet leads that you're having trouble converting right now, those individual ISAs in their first 12 months could produce between 36 to 60 transactions using our training, our methodology, our scripting, and having guidance from our company. And now over the past 9 years, my company has been training thousands of agents per year across the US and Canada. And our clients, included in our clients, are also the top 5% of the Real Trends mega teams out there. So we have a depth of experience of training, and we have a depth of experience of communicating and information and how to teach salespeople to have better interactions, higher conversions, and get more success. The reason that I'm telling you this before I start teaching you anything is because anybody can tell you how to talk to a lead, right? Anybody can teach you sales. It doesn't require a degree. It doesn't require any kind of actual results. And in fact, a lot of the trainers and the gurus in our industry right now they teach from theory and not actual experience. They haven't done it themselves, or the people that they've taught to convert leads or have conversations aren't successful at doing it. So they haven't done it themselves. The people that they're teaching aren't actually successful at it. And this is the one that really kills me and drives me insane. A lot of people teaching real estate sales right now have never actually sold real estate. Not only have they not sold real estate, but the things that they're teaching salespeople to say, they've literally never actually used. They just created it because they think that it's a good idea. And now they're teaching it to agents. And listen, I am an agent. I am currently a licensed agent. And what I can tell you is that this business is hard, okay? And I get it. So anytime somebody says, hey, do it this way, it'll work better. Hey, follow my system. Pay me for my program. Come and listen to me. I know personally that we are desperate to listen to that stuff, right? Because it's like, oh my God, this is so hard. I need an advantage. The problem is that there's a lot of people out there that take advantage of that, who have never done what we do, who have never been in that position, who have never had to get their way into a potential seller's door and sit on their couch and pitch them and ask them to sign paperwork or convince a buyer to come and meet with us or go see houses with us. So the point that I'm making here is be careful where you're taking your information from, and we're really successful at this, so listen to what I'm telling you. My team and I have successfully now taught thousands of other agents across the US and Canada to convert at a high level. So the information that you're getting here is probably some of the best sales training you're going to get. And I'm going to give you a free sample of our high quality training right now. You're going to learn something. My intention is that you're going to take away actionable steps from this training today that you can use. And at the end, I'll offer you a 12-week appointment boot camp. Is that fair? If that's fair, chat in fair for me. And I want you near the chat window so that you can answer when I ask you to chat in. So if it's fair for me to give you free training and then tell you about a 12-week boot camp, chat in fair for me. All right, good. So let me quickly talk about why you're not hitting your goals. And the reason that I'm going to do this is, again, because I've been a consultant and trainer for about 11 years, and I've had my company for 9 years now. And we literally have thousands of students that come through our company every single year. What that means is that we see a lot of patterns. And if you personally are not hitting your goals, it's probably because you're not going on enough new appointments every week. And if you're not going on enough new appointments every week, the primary cause is because you probably aren't making enough asks in the right way for an appointment every week, right? And if you aren't making enough asks in the right way every week, it's probably for one of the following reasons. We polled our database of agents, right? Our database of past clients, agents just like you. Some of you are here for the first time seeing our training. And 4,000 people responded to our poll and they answered our questions. And primarily the question was, what's holding you back from setting more appointments weekly? And these were the most common answers across the 4,000 agents and team leaders who responded. And I want you to let me know if you fall into any of these categories. The most common answers were a lack of motivation, fear of rejection, not enough leads, leads aren't good, don't know who to contact, not enough time, don't know what to say, which is a big one, right? Leads don't respond, can't overcome objections, and trouble staying on track. And I can take these most common responses and I can boil them down into 3 categories, right? 3 categories that if you identify with these, they go into 3 categories and you can work in these areas in order to improve your results and move to the next milestone or get closer to achieving your goals. Those 3 would be a lack of lead conversion skills. This one is massively important. I don't want you to overlook this one. The whole premise of this training today is helping you improve your introductions, which are the gateway to you getting a conversation with a lead, you keeping a lead in the conversation, on the phone call or face-to-face with you, so that you can determine whether you can get an appointment or build a relationship with them. But the skill set, the difference that your skill set makes is massive. An agent with no skills or very subpar skills has to have the highest quality leads in order to sell real estate, right? As your skill set improves, the required quality of leads actually goes down, meaning that the better you get at what you do, the better you get at what you're saying, how you say it, and how you recognize cues coming from those consumers, the better you get at that, the less you have to have of really good quality leads, meaning that you can make more opportunities from the leads and the lead sources that you already have. A highly skilled salesperson can make more opportunities for themselves than a lower skilled salesperson. So a lot of those challenges around getting more appointments is primarily around the skill set, because the higher the skill set, the better the results and the less you struggle with bad leads or unmotivated leads. So lack of lead conversion skills, one of the categories. 2 is a chaotic and unproductive schedule. If you're just running around like trying things and sort of bouncing all over the place, one day you're calling leads, one day you're door knocking, one day you're trying to be a YouTube expert. Like if you're all over the place and you don't have a regular schedule to focus on sales time and making contacts, then you're going to have very mixed results. So that's category 2. Category 3 would be an inefficient lead conversion process. So not only do you need to have a certain set of lead sources that you're working, a really good skill set and scripting around how you approach them and how you talk to them, you also need a good schedule so that you're consistently taking the action. And on top of it, you need a really good tool set, right? You need a good CRM. You need that CRM to be set up in a way that you will use it so that you can use it efficiently. I don't know about you, but I don't have 5 hours per day to lead generate every single day, right? Most of us who are busy have to be able to knock it out in an hour or 2 of focused time. So in order to knock out enough lead generation in an hour or 2, you have to have a really good system and a process to follow so that you can be really efficient in your use of time and get as many contacts, connections, and potentially set appointments as you possibly can. So if you identified with any of those struggles with getting more appointments, it falls into these 3 categories, and you probably are deficient or having an issue in one or more of those categories. So I just wanted to lay that out for you because it's easy for me to jump on here and be like, oh, hey, say this instead of that. But I know that underlying, a lot of you are on this webinar probably because you're not hitting your goals, probably because you don't have enough appointments, you're not closing enough deals, or you want to get to the next level in your income and your goal attainment. And if you aren't there, just giving you some scripting advice isn't going to get you there. So I'm giving you these other pieces. Okay. If this is good, chat in good. Okay. All right. So today, of those 3, right? Skills, schedule, CRM process, we're talking about skills because we're talking about the magical intros that caused a tripling of the minute plus conversations. When we talk about skills, we've broken skills down into core 4. There are 4 core scripting skills essentially that every salesperson has to have. Those are introductions, objection handling, and objection handling process, asking for appointments, setting up and asking for logical appointments, and then value propositions. What do I mean by value propositions? Think of it this way. A value proposition at its most basic is how you would answer the question, why should I buy a home with you? Or why should I list my home with you? What you say back to answer that would be your value proposition. Why should somebody work with you? What will they get out of it? Okay, those are the 4 core. And today, obviously, we're going to be working on introductions because I can't cram all of it into a 50-minute webinar. But we're focusing on introductions today. First, I want to talk about why leads say no to you. And when I'm talking about no, I mean sort of no in any context. Why a lead won't talk to you, why a lead won't give information to you, why a lead won't let you build rapport with them, why a lead won't tell you their story or give you information, all the way to why a lead kicks you off the phone or ends a conversation with you or says no, not yet, not with you, not under these circumstances. That whole broad spectrum of being rejected comes down to one core concept that I'm going to teach you now, and I want you to take it with you. So I want you to imagine that it's a warm summer day out, right? It's actually summer right here in Philadelphia right now, and it's pretty warm. So let's say that you're waiting around, waiting to pick up your dry cleaning or pick your kid up from some event or something, and you've got some time to kill. And next door, it just happens to be this beautiful, shiny car dealership with all these nice, shiny cars out there, right? So you're just going to walk around. You got some time to kill. You have no need to buy a car today. You have no desire to buy a car today. You don't even have a budget to buy a car today, right? But you're going to take the risk and you're going to go walk around out there knowing that a salesperson's probably going to talk to you. So you're walking around out there looking at the cars, and then you see this guy. This is Jeff. Jeff sells cars. Jeff starts to approach you. Chat in for me. What is Jeff's purpose? Chat it in. Chat it in. What's Jeff's purpose? If you said to sell you a car, congratulations, you are an average consumer. Now, in order, I put that on this slide, right? I asked you to chat in before I showed you what it said on that slide. How did I know that the majority of you were going to say to sell you a car? How did I know that? I know that because I'm a consumer too. You were just thinking like a consumer. You took this salesperson who probably has a family, had a mom, has friends, has a community, has people who care about him, went to school with him, right? Have been friends with him for years. And you reduced this salesperson down to a singular idea, which was to sell you a car. The reason that I'm making this point for you is because if I went and asked any of you, what do you do for a living? Or what is your purpose? Almost none of you would say sell houses. You would never reduce yourself down to a singularity. You would tell me that you are a consultant, that you build relationships, that you build bridges, that you care about people, yada, 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 right? The reason that I want to point this out to you is that you look at yourself as a salesperson. Jeff looks at himself as a salesperson. I bet you Jeff cares about his clients. I bet you Jeff really wants to help people make the right transportation decision for themselves. Jeff wants to build a relationship with you so that you will refer friends and family to him, just like you as a real estate agent. Jeff thinks of himself as more than just a singular idea. Us, as consumers, think of Jeff as one thing, which is only there to sell a car. What's my point? My point to this is I want you to never forget that the only person who ever forgets that you are a salesperson is you. So when you're talking to leads and they reject you, they say, not yet, not now, I'm busy, I'm not interested, don't want to talk, it's simply because they are regarding you as a salesperson and they're reducing you down to a singular idea, right? A singular concept. So it's okay that they do that. It's totally natural for them to do that. It's natural for you to do it. Part of our job is to stay there in that conversation and get past that uncomfortable reality, right? So I just want you to hold that idea in your head as I'm talking to you about how to get into conversations with people in a better, more productive way. Because if you never forget that they regard you as a salesperson, it can help you to be better at the way that you approach people. It can help you to be prepared for them to reject you or avoid you or not want to talk to you. And it can also help you improve the way that you approach them, the way that you conduct a conversation, and will help you read their body language and their attitude and their, perspective, the way they're talking to you. Okay, so let's move on to introductions. Why are introductions so incredibly important? Listen, I just ran this filter for you, which is that almost nobody wants to talk to a salesperson unless they are ready to buy something or they have a burning question they just can't figure out how to get answered any other way. That is usually how most consumers operate. So the reason that introductions are so important is because most consumers immediately recognize that you're a salesperson. And if that consumer isn't trying to talk to you, they are waiting to reject you, or waiting to tell you no, or waiting to tell you not yet. Does that make sense? Chat in for me, yes, if that concept makes sense to you. Okay, and the reason that introductions are so important is because it means the difference between whether or not a consumer will continue talking to you if they're not trying to get something from you, right? It sets the stage for you. One, introductions mean the difference between whether they'll continue talking to you or not. Two, the introductions help set the stage for how likely it is that you could overcome an objection, how well you'll be able to get discovery from, or how easily and well you'll be able to get discovery from a prospect, right? Their who, where, when, why, what, and how much, and how likely they are to agree to a next step or to meet with you starts with your introductions. So let's get into it. There are two different types of leads, typically. They really kind of fall into two categories. There are leads who want something from us as real estate agents. They are inquiring about a house. They are reaching out to find out about the listing process or selling their home. They want to go see property, or they want to know about a specific property, right? Or they want to talk about the buying process. Those kind of leads are very few and far between, right? We don't get, the majority of the leads that we get, that we work on in our industry, are not in this category. Now, here's a disclaimer. In a lot of cases, a lot of referral leads, a lot of leads that are calling about a particular listing, or leads that have been incubating for a long time and actually want to go see something, whether you've cultivated them yourself or whether you've bought them from another platform, those three fall into the category of people who want something from us. However, if all you work is those kind of leads, because they're very few and far between, or they're much fewer, then it probably just means that you aren't working enough stranger business. If you are working a good amount of stranger business, then a big majority of the other lead sources are going to fall into the second category, which is people who don't want something from us, right? These are the for sale by owners. These are the expireds. They don't know who we are. They're not waiting for us to reach out to them. They don't want anything from us. These are the really green internet leads. These are the internet leads that just randomly filled out a form, or they filled out something to look at a house, or they filled out something to get the valuation on their home, an automated valuation. Or these are the circle prospect leads. These are just names and phone numbers, right? These people don't want something from us. Why is this important for me to point out to you? When it comes down to introductions, if a prospect wants something from you, then your introduction doesn't matter as much. It's not as vital, right? Because the lead is driving the ship. The lead is driving the interaction. The lead wants to get something from you. You can still screw it up, and there's still best practices around it, but it's not as important as the leads who don't want something from us. Because if you think about it this way, if the lead doesn't want something from us, that means that they don't want to talk to us. They regard us as a salesperson, and nobody wants to talk to a salesperson until they're ready. So for the people who don't want something from us, your introduction is much more important. So if you're struggling with working internet leads right now, it's probably because you don't have a very good structured introduction, and mostly you're talking to people who don't want something from you. So for those of you who are more customer service oriented, like you really care about your clients and you just want to do a good job for them, I mean, we all do. But there are those of us who have a little bit of a thicker skin to go out and talk to strangers and to kind of break through that uncomfortableness. There are those of us, others of us who are much more people oriented, and we don't like to push people and don't want to offend them in any way or make them uncomfortable. And so we wait around for them to be ready to talk to us. Well, that's a bad combination if you're trying to talk to people who don't want something from you and you have to force the conversation, right? So we're talking about those who don't want something from us today. People who want something from you, that's a topic for another day. Okay, so here's what pretty much anybody who doesn't want something from you, this is what they're thinking. As soon as they answer that phone, or as soon as as soon as you approach them for a conversation, they are thinking, who are you? Who are you? Why are you calling me? Or why are you contacting me? Or why are you talking to me? What do you want? Okay? You have to answer these 3 questions in your introduction, and you want to answer those 3 questions as quickly as you can. I lost it. You have to answer that, or you want to answer that as quickly as you can. Who are you? Why are you calling me? What do you want? Bad scripting takes a long time to answer those 3 questions. Because when you call somebody, usually this day and age, your phone number is not going to be in their phone. It's not going to be recognized. They're automatically going to be suspicious that you're either a spam caller or that you are a telemarketer, right? Then they're going to answer that phone. And when they don't recognize your voice, they're further confirmed that you are a salesperson or a telemarketer. And if they don't want something, they are going to be in a hurry to shut us down. If you take a long time to get around to it, to answering the 3 questions that everybody wants to know, then they're going to get even more annoyed with you and even more committed to rejecting you. So answer the questions quickly. Who are you? Why are you calling? What do you want? And I'm going to show you, I'm going to take these principles I'm teaching you, I'm going to show you some sample scripting that you can use right now. All right, so we got the three basics. Who are you? Why are you calling? What do you want? Now, here's some pro tips for you in your introductions. And this can go for many different types of leads. You're going to match the prospect's first word. If they say hello, you say hello. If they say hi, you say hi. There's a couple of reasons that you're going to match the first word. One is that it will force you to be actively listening to that person from the very first word that they say instead of in your own head. 2, I don't know the science behind this, but I just know that we have that lizard brain thing going on where we're constantly looking for threats or dangers or things that don't match. Like that's what our brain is doing constantly. It's looking for what's out of place, what's a danger to me. So if a prospect says, hi, right? When they answer the phone, hi, this is so-and-so, and you say, hello, so-and-so, does hi match hello? No, it doesn't, right? It's not the same. Does hey match hello? No, it doesn't. It's not the same. So all I know is that matching the word is cheap. It's easy. It doesn't cost me anything. And I would rather match what you say in that instance where it doesn't matter than not match you, so that I don't set off any other alarms that I'm unlike you, right? You talk about, or salespeople talk about rapport building all the time. They talk about mirror and matching all the time. Just take it right down to the first word. There's no reason not to. Sound like them instead of not sounding like them. And it will force you to be listening from the very first word. I guarantee if you take this to heart and you try to do it, you're going to be like having a panic attack at night where you're like, oh my God, did I match the word or did I not? So that's the first tip. Next one, know who they are always. I like to joke that telemarketers ask if it's you, debt collectors know it's you. So when a prospect doesn't recognize that number, takes the risk and answers the phone, doesn't recognize that voice, that's like strike two, right? And then whoever's on that phone says, is this Dale? Or hi, Dale? That's strike three. And you're like, yep, this is a salesperson. Because in 2025, who calls your phone and doesn't know it's you? Only a telemarketer does. Only a salesperson does. So when you ask if it's them, you clearly signal to them that you don't know who they are and that you're probably not important, that you're probably a salesperson. Instead, they don't recognize that number. They don't recognize the voice. Oh, but they know who I am. I better figure out who it is so that I don't upset an important person. It buys you a little bit more time. Always know who they are. Always. If it says Mary Smith and you feel comfortable pronouncing that name and it sounds like a female answered that phone, then say, hi, Mary, this is blah, 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 right? Or hello, Mary, this is blah, blah, blah. If it says Mary Smith and somebody with a voice like mine answers and you feel like there's a gender mismatch, just get rid of the name. Get rid of the name. However, whoever answers that phone is the person who took the action. Whoever answers that phone is the person who registered on your site. They are the person who requested the info, right? It's them. Just tell them it's them. And what will happen if you're wrong? What will happen if it's not Mary? What will happen if they didn't take the action or if they have no idea what you're talking about? They're going to tell you. You don't have to be right. They will tell you if you're wrong. They will tell you if you have the wrong person. But going in assumptively, going in confidently will set you up better for success than going in with a question or going in not sure or going in unknown, right? The difference is the way that you show up, the confidence that you show up with. If you show up without confidence and you show up as a salesperson to somebody who doesn't want something from you, you get shut down fast, right? But if you show up with confidence as though you know who they are, as though you're supposed to be there, and you're very clear about who you are and what you want, you're much more likely to continue on the conversation with them, even if they aren't ready. All right, so that's tip 2. No salutation. This is pretty much something that we've been doing for the last, I'd say, 2 years now or so, because the amount of spam calls and the amount of telemarketing calls is just astronomical these days. And you know how I said that every consumer, all of us as consumers, want to know, who are you, why are you calling, what do you want, from the very beginning? Because of that, we just get rid of the salutation. We immediately go to, here's who I am, here's why I'm calling you, here's what I want to know. Because although a salutation meaning, how are you, how's your day, how's it going, or even informally with like your friends or family, hey, what's up, right? That's a salutation. So it's a normal part of speech. But we as salespeople doing outbound calling or contacting people who don't want something from us, we get much better results if we can answer those 3 questions quickly. Just get rid of the salutation. Because I guarantee you that most consumers that you contact don't care how you are. And they don't care for you to ask them how they are because they aren't trying to engage you on that level. So just get it out of the way. It'll help you get into the conversation faster. Ask them an action question, okay? And what I mean by an action question, the difference between, I wanted to see how your home search is going, which is not an action question, versus, are you planning on buying a home in the next few months? That's an action question, right? Hey, wanted to see if you had any questions about the home selling process I could answer, versus, I wanted to see if you're accepting offers on your home. That's an action question, right? Customer service question, wanted to see how your search is going, see if there's any questions I could answer, see if I could tell you anything about the selling process, versus, Are you buying a home? Are you accepting offers on your home? Are you selling your home? Customer service versus action questions. When you're dealing with people who don't want something from you, best course of action is ask an action question. Because the people who don't want something from us aren't looking for customer service, right? They aren't sitting there waiting, thinking, I wish an agent would call me to answer my questions. You know, I wish an agent would call me to ask me how I'm enjoying clicking on websites. That's not productive for the consumer. So instead, you ask an action-oriented question. Are you planning to do X? Or are you still doing Y? Okay, and then one more. This is an important concept. Play to their likely objection. If I went around and asked all of you, what would you do, if a salesperson called you out of the blue and you didn't want something, how eager are you to say no to them? All of you would say, yeah, I'm trying to get off the phone if I don't want something and a random salesperson calls me out of the blue. So a big problem that a lot of scripting has, especially with the bucket of leads who don't want something from you, is that they try to prevent the consumer from saying no. Instead of trying to prevent the consumer from saying no because you know they're going to do it, they're waiting to do it, they have this no that they're trying to give you, just give them the opportunity to say no to you, and you can do it right in your introductory script. So you're going to play to their likely objection. When you do that, you demonstrate that you aren't just a robotic salesperson, that you're somebody different, and that you can actually accept no as an answer. Okay, and I'm going to tie this all together for you and show you how it goes, all right? By the way, I see some questions in the chat. I will answer these at the end as I get around to them. Sound good? Okay. So let's tie these pro tips together, and I'm going to show you some scripting. All right, so here's a basic internet lead script. You're going to go with their word, right? Hi, hello, hey, their name. If you can pronounce the name, if you feel comfortable pronouncing it, and you feel like you have a gender match between the name and the person, then you're going to use their name. If you don't feel like there's a match, just omit it. This is your name with brokerage, and here's the important part. So you'll see, this is your name with brokerage. That's who I am, right? And I want to include brokerage or a recognizable real estate name so that they understand I'm from real estate, right? Then who are you, right? Who are you? Then why are you calling me, right? Why are you contacting me? That's this part. You registered on our website to look at homes for sale. This is why I'm contacting you. And essentially the why is what you did to make this happen, right? That's usually the best course of action for scripting is, hey, consumer, this is who I am. This is the action that you took or the thing that you requested or what you did that caused me to reach out to you. Now, here's what I want to know, right? Or what I want. Are you planning on buying in the next few months? Yeah, that action-oriented question. And here's the kicker. This is the objection, or play to their likely objection. Or are you just window shopping at this point? So here's how it sounds all together. Hello, Mary. This is Dale Archdekin with real estate, with whatever real estate, right? Amazing real estate. You registered on our website to look at homes for sale. I just wanted to see, are you planning on buying in the next few months or are you just window shopping at this point? This script right here is the best of all the common practices that will make a difference in somebody staying on a conversation with you and moving forward. And the question always is, what happens when they say just window shopping, right? I'm going to get to that as a bonus for you guys today, and I'm going to talk about that. So this is how you put it all together for a basic intro. It covers all the spots. It covers all of the necessities that you need to do. Let's look at an old lead script with the same format. You're going to match their word, use their name assumptively, right? Hi, Mary, this is Dale with Amazing Realty. You inquired about a few homes for sale a long time ago. Are you still looking for a home or have you purchased already, right? So this is all of it again together. This is your name with brokerage. That's who I am. Why I'm calling. You inquired about a few homes for sale a long time ago. This is the action you took. It was a long time ago, so it's okay if you don't remember me. Are you still looking for a home? That's the action question. Or have you purchased already? Common objection that they give you, right? So that's just a basic old lead introduction. If this is good, chat in good for me. Okay. Now, let's move on. I want to give you guys a quick bonus. Then I got to tell you about the boot camp if you're interested, and try to get it all done in another 6 minutes. All right, so obviously with introductions, you want to have a custom introduction for every different type of lead that you're working, because the best introductions are the most contextual to the lead. How the lead is thinking, where they came from, what their experience is, what their expectations are, right? And you can write these using the principles that I gave you. And in the boot camp, we work on these things with our students. So here's just a quick rhetorical question for you. How often do you get stumped by leads who say not interested or just looking? On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being rarely, 5 being frequently. And I want to plant this into your head. If you're not prepared for objections during your intro, then you are likely to fail. So you want to be prepared for objections ahead of time in your introduction. And I'm going to give you an example, right? So here's a very common initial objection, which is just looking, getting started, not serious, window shopping. I should have written it on here. Just window shopping. Okay, so these are not really, from the consumer, it's an objection. But you as a salesperson, I don't want you to consider it an objection. I want you to hear two things. When somebody says just looking, getting started, not serious, window shopping, I want you to hear, I don't know my time frame. I don't know when, right? I don't know my time frame. And I think I'm not ready to talk to a salesperson, okay? That's what I want you to hear. Good? All right, so I want you to hear those two things. And I'm going to teach you the difference between past tense, present tense, and future tense questions. Real quick, trying to get this all crammed in today. And this is specific to people who say just looking, just browsing, not ready, window shopping, whatever. In sales, when we ask questions or we talk, there's this concept that I want you to remember, which is past tense, present tense, future tense. I can ask you questions that either are in past tense, right? What brought you to my website in the first place? What made you think about looking at homes? That's past tense. You can hear it. Future tense. Got it. So when do you think you'd like to get moved? When do you think you'd like to be in your new home, right? Future tense. I'm pulling you into the future. Present tense. Who are you now? Where are you now? What are you doing now? We as salespeople, remember the Jeff example? Nobody wants to talk to a salesperson unless they're ready to buy or they have burning questions to get answered. So all consumers are in this heightened state. They're on alert when they're talking to a salesperson. And especially when they start saying, no, not yet, not with you, salesperson. So when the salesperson starts to ask you questions, if they drag you back into the past, you can really feel it, right? You're like, oh, they're taking me somewhere. If they drag you into the future, you can feel it. Oh, they're really taking me somewhere. The easiest questions, the least pressure questions you can ask are present tense questions. And I'm going to show you 3 present tense questions you can ask into the face of just looking, just browsing, getting started, right? Window shopping. Here's 3 present tense questions. These are, who are you now? Where are you now? Do you currently live here or are you relocating? Do you currently live in Philadelphia or are you moving here, right? Do you currently live in Nashville or are you moving here? That's an easy present tense question that anybody can answer for you. Do you currently own your home or are you renting? Anybody can answer that question for you. It's very easy. It's present tense, right? And there's very little sales pressure on it. What neighborhoods are you interested in? Now, in my area of Philly, I would say neighborhoods because we talk in terms of neighborhoods, right? Chestnut Hill, Roxborough, Graduate Hospital. But in other markets, you might say cities, or you might say zip codes, or you might say townships, or you might say school districts. Whatever your local terminology is, you just ask it in plural, right? Hey, what cities are you guys interested in? What neighborhoods are you interested in? What towns are you interested in? Those are 3 present tense questions you can ask into the face of that objection. And again, I just want you hearing it as 2 things. 1, I don't really know a timeline or have one. 2, I don't think that I'm ready or at the point I should be talking to an agent. And so when you shift to present tense questions, all you're doing is you're shifting from a sales conversation to more of a relationship building conversation. Hey, cool, you're not ready, browsing, whatever. Who are you now? It's an easy segue, and it works 90% of the time. You just continue on that path and do more discovery with them. Okay, so hopefully that helped you. I'm going to have to wrap this up now because we're running out of time, and I want to tell you real quick about the boot camp that we do. So the other parts of scripting and dialogue that we teach, obviously, would be objections. Objections, having an objection handling process beyond the little snippet that I just showed you is massively important. Here's another question. How often do you get stumped by objections like, I need to talk to my spouse, or I have an agent? 1 being rarely, 5 being frequently. You know, if you're running into these frequently and you're getting stumped by them, you probably have an objection handling process. You don't have a good process around, what do I do when this happens? How do I approach it? How do I untangle it? Appointments. How often are buyers or sellers saying that they're not ready to meet with you? On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being rarely, 5 being frequently, right? The lifeblood of our sales is getting appointments. And if you aren't able to get more people to meet with you on a regular basis, when I say regular, I mean weekly, like new appointments with new buyers and sellers every single week, then you probably have an issue around asking for and getting new appointments and value propositions. If you're frequently losing business to other agents, or getting completely ghosted after talking to a lead or even meeting with them, then it's probably that you have a value proposition issue. Like if I brought you up here to role play with me right now, and I said, hey, why should I buy a home with you? Go. Why should I list my home with you? Go. If that gives you a bit of a cold sweat, then you need to practice your value proposition so that you can be more confident and deliver it anytime that you need to. That will help you get more appointments. That will help you keep the business. That will help you win the business. All right, so here's a question for you. Can you learn to dance by reading slides? I'm going to say probably not. You probably have to do it. You probably need to do it in real time and get somebody who knows how to do it to help you. So, do you want to know more about our training system? Chat in yes for me if you want to know more about our training system. Okay. So we packaged up the initial training, like this is just a snippet of what I showed you today. We packaged it up into a 12-week boot camp. And our training offer is for you if you can answer yes to both of these poll questions that I'm going to drop. And I'm going to drop a new poll for you. There we go. All right. So here's a poll, should have popped up in front of you, and I'm just going to take you through the 2 questions real quick. First question is, if our system can guarantee that you double your weekly appointments, could you invest at least $125 per week in it? Yes or no? And let me clarify this. Can you invest $125 a week starting now or within the next week? Because sometimes people jump on and they're like, oh, I want to do the boot camp. And they're like, I'm not going to have money until November. That's okay, great. Come back in November. Question 2. Do you believe that if you improved your sales skills, your consistency, and your CRM process, it'd be enough to finally hit your financial goals? So yes to I can afford it. Yes to it's a priority for me to improve my skills and my consistency and my CRM process. If you can say yes to both of those questions, then our boot camp is likely a good fit for you. What we should do is, if you can answer yes to both of those, we should jump onto a quick Zoom where you can ask your questions about the boot camp, anything that you want to know, and we can also have a conversation with you about where you're currently at in your business, what lead sources you're working, whether or not we need to make any recommendations to add to your current lead sources, and we can see what kind of scripting you're currently using to see where we could help you improve your lead conversion, your appointment booking, and your closings. All right, so hopefully you filled out the poll there. I got 9 out of 23 people who answered the poll. So if you want to answer the poll, do it quick before I go to the next slide. If you don't know where the poll is, there's a button below on the Zoom window that says polls and quizzes. Just click on that. If you absolutely cannot find the poll, but you can say yes to the investment, you can say yes to the importance of you working on your skills and consistency in CRM process, you can drop your email into the chat and we'll reach out to you.